right, guys. So today I'm just going to get right into it. There is a lot of talk about the abortion conversation. And I actually wrote out a blog for this already, but I have not posted it. So this is kind of awkward for me. Like, I'm recording this video about the blog, but I haven't actually posted the blog yet. So anyway, I'm going to be looking at my notes a lot in my laptop, just so you know, because I want to make sure I'm giving you the correct information. So let's start with politics, right? So there are three branches of government. You have your executive branch, which is the highest. Your president is under the executive branch, and the governors of each state are under the executive branch. Then there's the legislative branch, and your legislative is the members of the House, Senate, basically Congress. Then you have your judicial branch. Your judicial branch is the Supreme Court and lower courts. They all fall under the judicial branch. So, how do we make state laws? This is why it's so important to vote in your local elections. This is my own opinion, and I'll explain it. So, everyone makes a big deal about the presidential election. I voted in the last presidential election. Lots of people did. Great. You're exercising your right to vote. But really, the people that you elect as your senators are the people who actually make the laws for the state that you live in. So your local elections are very important, because these are the people that should be able to relate to you and where you live and know what the people in your community need collectively, like what's needed in that community and what their initiatives are to help meet that need or fulfill that need. Okay. I'm looking at my laptop. Hold on. Alrighty. So, as I said, the government for each state is part of the executive branch. You give your legislatures and your governor the power to create and repeal laws in your state. Okay? So, now that we got those basics out the way, let's move along to abortions and all that jazz. This country, our Constitution, our amendments, etc., is all built off of patriarchy. You can open the Bible and see the beginning of the Bible is the beginning of patriarchy. Like, literally blaming a woman for all the evil in the world, right? Eating an apple. Oh, Eve's to blame for the reason why, there's death and all this other nonsense. Patriarchy is the bottom line. So with all these laws built off of patriarchy, this country has never been set up for women to control anything, including themselves. So that is really the beginning of the problem, and that's the reason why abortions is a political topic. Could you imagine if during the presidential debate, the topic of discussion was whether or not men should keep having unprotected sex or ejaculating in women if they didn't want children? Could you imagine them saying, oh, men should be prosecuted if they get someone pregnant and they don't want to have a baby? No, that's never going to be a topic of discussion. You know why? Because this country is built off of patriarchy. They actually have us believing that women are the minority. Like, literally, you can look at what minorities are considered and it'll say, POC, which is people of color, black people, women, Latinas, Latinos, etc. Really, women, we are not the minority. There are more women in this country than there are men, and that is a fact. So you have to be careful and realize what the play is on words and scenarios and how things are portrayed in the media. Furthermore, we have people actually protesting, to stop abortions. Prime example, I went to the NAACP Fight for Freedom Fund dinner 2 weeks ago. I'm walking up to the building and there are literally protesters with, pro-life signs, showing pictures of fetuses saying that, this is a human life, it has a heartbeat, etc. And I'm just like, but who is actually protesting for abortions? Like, no one is. We're just saying that we should have the right to decide what we do with our body. And that's just what it is. However, none of this is really about life or saving lives or fetuses or embryos having a heartbeat, whatever you want to say. This is really all about control. And as I previously stated in a video, nothing ever happens all at once. It happens little by little. So Alabama making this law, excuse me, I'm stuffy. It really just takes me to a place of The Handmaid's Tale. And if you've never seen The Handmaid's Tale on Hulu, maybe you should catch up because a new season is starting June 5th. But basically, the show is talking about restricting women, they're living in the United States and women can only have sex to produce babies for families. That's it. Excuse me. This is not the 1950s. This is all about control. Taking control from women because women are gaining control. We have elected some very good officials in different states like New York. AOC, she's from the Bronx. Anaya Presley. Rashida Tlaib, which is my personal rep, and I say that because I'm in her district in Michigan, but women are really stepping up their game in politics and not going for the bullshit anymore. So by Alabama making this new law or amending this law, whatever you want to call it, it is just a step towards what the president said that he wanted to do. So Trump said if he was elected, he was going to overturn Roe versus Wade. Now, if you do not know, Roe versus Wade is like one of the largest recognized cases involving women's rights and abortions, and it occurred in 1973. So I'm going to read this to you. This comes from my blog. A Supreme Court judge in 1973 decided, per the 14th Amendment Due Process Clause, rights to privacy, it is unconstitutional and illegal to tell women we have up to a certain amount of time to get an abortion. Now, with that being said, there are still at least 26 states that I can think of off the top of my head that have restrictions on abortions, meaning it has to be within this time or it has to be within these circumstances. So even though this is, the Supreme Court is considered to be the land of the law, like the final, the is all be all. So with that being said, it's like, why is it that we still have all of these restrictions on abortions? It's really just a matter of control. Like, I feel like they want us, it's not a feel. They want to control women so they can eventually take all control and regain or resustain this world of patriarchy that we live in. And nothing happens all at once. This is just a step towards the process. Now, it's important to note that this law change in Alabama does not overturn Roe versus Wade. However, it opens the gateway for different states to dictate and manipulate what their abortion laws really are and what they really want, depending upon who's in office. However, although each state can make their own, well, all of the states seem to have their own laws and regulations about abortions, when you can get them, like what the time frame is and the circumstances of which an abortion is granted, right? However, if a state law violates the U.S. Constitution, the supremacy clause is a clause within Article 6 of the U.S. Constitution, which dictates that federal law is the supreme law of the land. A federal court may require a state to stop certain behavior it believes interferes with or is in conflict with federal laws. So, in all actuality, the change in the Alabama state law as far as abortions can be taken to the Supreme Court because it is indeed violating the Constitution. It's unconstitutional, basically. I'm sorry for all of these mess ups, but I really had to like calm my energy before I could even get into this video because I knew that there were just like certain facts that I needed to express and I didn't want to be like antsy about it. So if I appear that way, if I appear antsy, I apologize. But this has been like all over my timeline and people have been like tagging me on Twitter and on Facebook about it. And I knew I was going to do something about it, but I wanted to give you all the facts. So, there you have it. Now, if Trump is to decide he wants to veto Roe versus Wade, the Supreme Court can overturn his executive order, but then Trump could turn around and veto their decision. But Congress can override his veto, but there has to be 2/3 majority to end the executive order. So it's a lot of back and forth with the law, but these are the things that I feel we need to know so that we can make educated decisions. And let me tell you what we don't need. So let me get into my opinion really quickly. What we don't need is men telling us that this is not what we need to be worried about. And I've seen this several times online and I just haven't made any comments, but you don't have the right to tell me or any woman what we need to be worried about when it's our bodies on the bill. Like it's our bodies on the line. It's our bodies in the law. And I do understand why they are, making a big deal about abortions because it's about control. It's about controlling the population, and women are the people who actually, give birth to children. And so if they have us under control, they virtually have everything under control. And again, that's what this is all about. So what needs to be done is I believe what is actually happening. And that's why all of a sudden these different states are coming out with these different laws that they're trying to amend or adjust. But we're on the brinks of totally destroying this system as we know it. Like everything, as far as systematic racism, as far as white male patriarchy and dominance. Like I feel like we are on the brinks of totally destroying this whole system, which is what actually needs to be done. Destroy the whole system and rebuilding, recreating, and restructuring a whole new dynamic that is equal and fair. Like that is the actual goal. And so when things like this are starting to be attacked all over again, it's because the pressure from the changes that are slowly being made politically and by the people in the United States, the powers, no, I don't want to say that. The people that are in power, that are not down for the change, they're not down for the cause, they're not woke, they want things to stay the way that they are because it keeps them in power and in control, they get scared, so they have to shake things up. Don't be scared. We are going through the process. This is not going to be what it is. That probably didn't make any sense. But what I mean is, this is not going to be something that controls us. Alabama, Arkansas, or any other state that changes their abortion laws in an effort to control women, because again, that's what it's really about. It's not going to work. It's not going to work because we have states like New York who doesn't have an abortion law. Not only that, but we have people who are not willing. We have prosecutors, correction, not just people. We have prosecutors that are not willing to prosecute women for having abortions because that's utterly ridiculous. This is what I mean when I say that there are certain people that are in positions that are willing to take a stand for the greater good of the United States in an effort to rebuild, well, destroy the current system and rebuild a new one. Prosecutors, lawyers, doctors, nurses, people that are just in politics, period, our Congress. Like that is the goal. The goal is to get all of these people on the same accord so that we can destroy this old system that does not work and recreate a new one. All right. So I hope this video explains some things to you. And again, I apologize. I'm like super stuffy. My allergies are going crazy. I look a mess right now and I'm about to go to the gym. But anyway, I hope this video helped explain some things as far as laws, because I don't want people out here spreading misinformation or getting misinformation from anywhere. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me at theashleyRaybrand@gmail.com. I'll put that in the bottom of the description. And I'm going to actually put all of these laws and things that I wrote out. I'm going to actually put that in the description so that you guys can see it for yourselves. All right. So thank you for joining. I'm Ashley Ray. Thank you for talking Ray style. Smooches.